Deep off the coast of modern-day Gujarat, marine archaeologists from India's National Institute of Oceanography recently descended into the dark waters and found something incredible. They uncovered massive stone block structures resting quietly on the seabed. The distinct rectangular geometric cuts in these stones, coupled with the discovery of heavy stone anchors and thick protective walls, indicate an intentional city grid. This evidence points to a complex civilization thriving exactly where this water now sits. For centuries, historians and academics looked at the surviving texts and reached a firm consensus. They agreed that this specific location, described in the Mahabharata, was purely mythological. But the sheer scale of these submerged artifacts, the layout of the streets, and the defensive walls match the ancient descriptions of Lord Krishna's golden capital with terrifying precision. Which brings us to a chilling question. If this utopian fortress actually existed, inhabited by the Earth's most powerful warriors, how was it completely swallowed by the ocean overnight? To understand how it fell, we have to look at why it was built in the first place. Over 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna needed a way to protect his people, the Yadavas. Their original home of Mathura was facing relentless, repeated military attacks, bleeding the kingdom dry. Krishna needed a geographic shield. According to the texts, he traveled to the coast and invoked Samudra Dev, the god of the ocean, requesting a vast expanse of protected land specifically designed to keep his people out of reach. The construction was handed to Vishwakarma, the divine architect. What manifested was a heavily fortified, grid-planned city, renowned for its towering palaces, precious jewels, and immense wealth. At its peak, Dwarka was built as a peninsula fortress, protected by ocean moats on 3 sides. Its design rendered a direct military approach nearly impossible, effectively creating a sanctuary for the Yadava clan. But this absolute physical security had a hidden cost. When a civilization is perfectly protected from external enemies, it breeds a severe internal arrogance. The Yadavas were about to learn that an empire's greatest threat often comes from inside its own walls. The countdown to Dwarka's end actually began far away, in the bloody aftermath of the Kurukshetra War. Millions lay dead. Gandhari, mourning the slaughter of her 100 sons, was consumed by grief and immense wrath. She turned that wrath toward Krishna, delivering a terrifying prophecy. She declared that in exactly 36 years, his own dynasty would succumb to madness. They would slaughter each other from the inside out, and the sea would rise to swallow his city. Over the following decades, the internal rot took hold. Safely locked behind their impenetrable walls, the Yadavas became heavily intoxicated by their unearned wealth and unchecked power. They lost their discipline. The breaking point occurred when a group of revered sages visited Dwarka. A gang of arrogant Yadava youths decided to mock them, dressing a young boy up to fake a pregnancy. When they asked the sages what the boy would give birth to, the insulted seers cursed them, declaring the boy would produce a lump of iron that would bring down their entire clan. Terrified when an actual iron lump appeared, the Yadavas tried to cheat the curse. They crushed the metal into fine dust and threw it into the sea. But the tide simply washed that cursed dust back onto the beaches of Prabhas, where it grew into a thick field of sharp, iron-like reeds. This is the mechanical law of karma at work. You can build ocean moats to keep out rival armies, but a society cannot outrun the consequences of its own moral corruption. As the 36th year arrived, the Yadavas traveled to that very beach at Prabhas for a festival. Heavy drinking quickly stripped away what little restraint they had left. Pent-up arrogance and old, petty grudges violently erupted into a massive brawl. When their conventional weapons shattered in the chaos, they desperately grabbed at the environment around them. They uprooted the tall reeds growing in the sand, and as the stalks were pulled from the earth, they instantly hardened into dark, lethal iron rods. In a matter of hours, fathers struck down sons, and brothers killed brothers. Using the iron born from their own arrogance, the Yadava clan completely wiped itself out, perfectly fulfilling the first half of Gandhari's curse. Shortly after, Lord Krishna met a solitary death in the forest, struck by a hunter's arrow. It was left to his friend Arjuna to rush to Dwarka and guide the remaining innocent civilians, women, and elders out through the grand city gates. As soon as the last survivors crossed the threshold, the ocean god came to reclaim his land. A deafening surge of water roared toward the coast, crashing down over the spires and pulling the magnificent golden city beneath the waves forever. The fall of Dwarka was an internal collapse, a cosmic reset triggered by the total disintegration of the city's moral order. When we pull back from the mythological floodwaters and look at the stark reality of modern archaeology, the parallels are impossible to ignore. Today, the foundations of these structures sit exposed in dry excavation trenches. These marine discoveries align physical coordinates with ancient verses, demonstrating that the geography and scale described in the Mahabharata are grounded in a historical reality. Exploration continues right off the coast of the modern city of Dwarka. As diving teams map out the staggering scale of the submerged grids, they are connecting our present-day living cities directly to their ancient origins. It makes you wonder, if a massive fortress from the Mahabharata is actually resting on the seabed, how many other advanced ancient cities are hiding in the dark, currently dismissed by historians as mere fairy tales? The sunken ruins of Dwarka serve as a permanent, physical monument to a core law of Sanatana Dharma. No matter how much wealth is accumulated or how heavily fortified the walls may be, when righteousness is abandoned, destruction is inevitable.